All right, one final example. So here we're asked to use the distance formula to determine whether ABC and DEF are congruent and justify our answer. Okay, so if we're trying to use the distance formula, we're trying to find the length of the segments, right, from A to B, D to E, and so forth and so on. And so we'll probably use side, 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 right? Because if I guess we would need the distance formula for side angle side too, but if we're using only the distance formula, we'd use side, 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 right? In order to determine if the angles are congruent, we'd have to maybe use the slopes or different things like that. All right, so we don't necessarily have to graph this, so it's kind of up to you. For me, I like to see the visuals, so I'm going to graph ABC. So A is 3, 8, B is 8, 12, which is up here, and then C is 10, 5. So 10, 5 is right about here, right? So there's ABC. All right, and then we can plot DEF the same way. So D is at 3, -1. E is at 7, -7. And F is at 12, -2. So 12, -2, somewhere out here, right? All right, so D, E, F. All right, so let's find A, B, and C. So in order to find AB, the distance formula, see AB equals the square root of, I'm going to do 12 minus 3, or excuse me, we'll do our x's first. So 8 minus 3, excuse me, squared plus 12 minus 8 squared, right? So x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, and then we take the square root of all that, right? And so this will be 5 squared plus 4 squared. So 25 plus 16 is 41. So we get the square root of 41 is what AB is, right? Okay, so let's do DE. So we would get 7 minus 3 squared plus, and then we get -7 minus -1 squared. All right, and so here that turns to a plus, so we get 4 squared plus -6 squared. And that would equal 16 plus 36 is 52, so we get the square root of 52. And that breaks down to 2 root 13. So DE is 2 root 13. So we know that AB and DE are not congruent. So if our congruent statement was exactly like this, then this wouldn't work, right? Because AB and DE aren't the same. But maybe they're just, that's not necessarily a congruent statement, so maybe this can correspond with a different side of ABC. So let's find BC. So BC here is going to equal the square root of 10 minus 8 squared plus 5 minus 12 squared, quantity squared. All right, and so that would be 2 squared plus -7 squared. So 4 plus 49 is 53. So we get root 53. All right, so close to square root of 52, but not exactly the same. All right, so let's find AC, and then we'll see if anything equals 2 root 13, then we'll be in business and we'll keep going and find the other sides of DEF. If nothing's the same, then we'll know that they're not congruent. So for AC, so A and C here, we're going to do 10 minus 3, quantity squared, plus 5 minus 8, quantity squared, and we'll take the square root of all that. All right, so it'll be 7 squared plus negative 3 squared. So that's going to be 49 plus 9, which is 58. So we get the square root of 58, which is 2 times 29. No perfect squares that go in, or no pairs. And so root 58. So none of these sides here are the same as DE. So therefore we can't have side without one of the sides being congruent, right? And so so that means that these are not congruent. So ABC, triangle ABC, is not congruent with triangle DEF.